sobbing now, oh, stop sobbing now. Yeah, stop it, stop, stop it, stop. Each little tear that falls from your eye makes me want to take you in my arms and tell you to stop all your sobbing. There's one thing you gotta do to make me still want you, and there's one thing you gotta know.
And that's The Pretenders and Stop Your Sobbing. That's all from me for today. Coming up next, of course, Steve in The Big Show. He'll be chatting to record producer and DJ Paul Oakenfold. They'll talk to wildlife presenter Chris Packham. And Tracy Evans from Wootton in Bedfordshire picks the non-stop oldies. This is Radio 2 on the BBC Sounds app, on your smart speaker and on 88 to 91 FM. BBC News at 2 o'clock. This is Nikki Cardwell. The pass rate for GCSEs has fallen on last year from around 77% of papers being awarded at least a 4 or C grade to just over 73%. It's still higher than pre-pandemic levels. Pupils across England, Wales and Northern Ireland have been receiving their results. Henry Merrison is the chief executive of the Northern Powerhouse Partnership, which campaigns for economic growth in the region. He says the results this morning and from last week's A-level grades show that action is needed to address regional differences in attainment.
The challenge is that the gap between children in the North East and the North West with London has widened again at GCSE. And we saw some very stark issues last week, and I think the causes are similar. You had lots of children on free school meals, unable to learn remotely without laptops. The DfE scheme was very slow getting off the ground. You've had real issues around the national tutoring programme not being delivered effectively.
The exam board Pearson has apologised to around 5,700 students who are still waiting to be given their BTEC results. Other pupils faced delays from the same body last week. It said it was working with schools and colleges to resolve queries. Merseyside police say they've identified a second man involved in the fatal shooting of 9-year-old Olivia Pratt-Corbell on Monday. The man, who hasn't been named, was being chased by the gunman alongside Joseph Nee, who was the intended target of the attack. Nee remains in hospital and the force confirmed he would be returned to prison. Navtesh Johal has more.
Merseyside police said they would not rest until they find the killer of Olivia Pratt-Corbell. The 9-year-old was shot as her mother struggled with two men, one with a gun, at her home in Liverpool on Monday night. The intended target was Joseph Nee, who forced his way into Olivia's home when her mother, Cheryl Corbell, opened the door in response to a commotion outside. The gunman remains at large.
The government's facing more calls to ramp up its support for households struggling with rising energy costs ahead of a planned rise in the price cap tomorrow. The British Chambers of Commerce is calling for COVID-style intervention from the government to help those worst affected. The organisation's head, Siobhan Haviland, says more must be done to help businesses.
Energy prices are disproportionately hitting small and medium-sized businesses. We want to see emergency energy grants for smaller businesses, a reduction in VAT from 20% to 5%, and more powers to Ofgem to ensure businesses are getting the right fixed-rate contracts.
Vladimir Putin has signed a decree to increase the number of armed forces personnel by 137,000. More than 2 million people will work for the Russian armed forces from January, half of them in the military. And Lidl is to start selling misshapen vegetables, which have been affected by the drought. The supermarket says it wants to support farmers who've struggled with extreme heat and little rainfall. BBC News, it's 3 minutes past 2.
Thank you, Nikki. Cheers, Vanessa. Hello, good afternoon. Thursday, 25th of August, 2022. Live till 5, it's The Big Show. Ever done that thing where you've eaten too much lunch? We've done it here. Too many apples, too many bananas. I know. Let's do something big to start.